Welcome on the Cosmic Atom. This is how the universe operates. Silent, accurate, and balanced. It does not shout. It observes. When the moment is right, it adapts. There is a cosmic balance that regulates everything, whether people believe it or not. Throwing shadows at someone walking in the light can cause you to lose your bearings. And those who planned your destruction are now imprisoned in the identical pits they dug for you. Since chosen ones do not just survive sabotage, they develop as a result of it. The people who spoke behind your back questioned you and wanted you to fail. They forgot one truth. The cosmos always remembers. When it moves, it silences your detractors more effectively than words ever could. Allow this to permeate your consciousness. Your radiance was created in fire, and your stillness was sharper than theirs. Their obsession became their punishment, because the power of a chosen one is subtle, is haunting, it lingers, it rewrites reality. So, if you're one of the fortunate few who have weathered the storm and emerged shining, this area is for you. Like and subscribe, because we're delving into power gifts and the kind of evolution that will keep your adversaries up at night. Your promotion is not on its way. It is already occurring, and the cosmos is finally working in your favor. Something in you is changing, and people can sense it even if they don't understand it. Your presence speaks louder than their ideas. Your quiet is more powerful than theirs. The change has already begun, and the energy surrounding you is reorganizing itself to your advantage. Take a moment to cement this metamorphosis before we go any farther. To claim power, click the like button that is waking in you. Subscribe. So spread this word to every other chosen soul out there, and leave 99 in the comments to send a flood of energy through this video. Those who pay careful attention already know that this is more than simply material. It is confirmation. Stay with it till the finish, since your glow-up is exactly what they were trying to stop. Number 1. Cease dimming your lights. Your energy speaks louder than words. They're not sure what it is, but they can feel it. When you go into a room, the vibe changes. Something shifts. Conversation slowed and eyes turned. Not because of what you wear, not because of your appearance, but because your energy arrived first and claimed its area as if it had always been there. This is what occurs when the cosmos begins to resonate with your vibration. There is no proclamation or flashing sign, simply a quiet, unseen force that follows you like a gravitational pull, which others cannot understand but cannot ignore. Either you become a living paradox, calm but authoritative, quiet yet memorable. You are not attempting to stand out. You just can't blend in anymore. People around you may attempt to duplicate your energy, but it fails. They can mimic your clothing, hairstyle, and even your words, but not your energy. What you carry is not on the surface. It's deeply ingrained in your being. It's the weight of every conflict you didn't overcome. Every scar's radiance became powerful. It's how your quiet is more impactful than their loudest noise. You are not loud, yet your presence communicates volumes. And what it says is straightforward. I know who I am, and I will no longer shrink to match anyone's expectations. This is why people gaze longer than they should, and why they get uncomfortable when you are quiet. Why they murmur as you go by. Their aura disturbs those who are still hidden behind masks. Because yours is genuine. You're the only person in a world full of filters and phony grins who comes off as genuine. And it is terrible for individuals who have no idea how to live without faking. But here is the deeper reality. This magnetic energy did not come easily. It was created in quiet, in seclusion, in times that no one saw. This is why it cannot be recreated. And that's why it haunts those who previously dismissed you. You're no longer someone who should be noticed. You're someone who needs to be felt. that represents a distinct degree of power. That isn't charisma. That is alignment. So when people look bewildered, gossip, or declare, "You've changed," they're correct. You have become untouchable. Not because you sought to outperform anybody, but because you finally quit extinguishing your own fire. This isn't an attraction. It is gravitational, and you can trust this. The more closely you connect with your truth, the more powerful that energy becomes. They won't know what to name it, but they'll remember how it made them feel. Number 2, do not follow the mob. Authenticity is your greatest strength. While the rest of the world pretends to be someone else, you, the chosen one, are doing something much more hazardous. You're showing up as yourself, and that is precisely why people cannot stop gazing. Not because you are loud. You're going about unfiltered in a world preoccupied with filters and facades, not because you're attempting to be unique. And it rattles people to the core. Authenticity does not shout. It does not need applause. It demands attention without asking for it. Most individuals have no notion who they are until others tell them what they should be. But you no longer require authorization, and it is what makes you memorable. While others lose themselves in an attempt to blend in, you become magnetic by standing alone. There's something about someone who refuses to follow trends. A modest audacity that arouses attention, admiration, and, on occasion, envy. You aren't auditioning for anyone's approval. You aren't bending yourself to satisfy the algorithm of the day. You're sturdy and grounded. And the world has no idea what to do with someone who cannot be molded. They mutter behind your back, attempting to decipher why you stand out without trying. What they don't comprehend is that this authenticity is uncommon, and it always triumphs in the end. You are not appealing only because of your appearance. You are appealing because you symbolize something that is fading. Truth. Your energy is liberated even without speaking. You offer them quiet permission to be authentic, which is why they are attracted to you. Even if they don't see why this isn't revolt, it is alignment. This is not about being different. This is about being genuine while everyone else is acting. And most ironic thing is that you don't want to be recognized. You have become memorable. Let them follow trends. Allow them to go to their limits in search of acceptance. You have already won by daring to be yourself in a society that is afraid of sincerity. That is the power they will never be able to match, and the allure they'll never be able to resist. Number 3, read the room before it breaks. You trust that knowledge. There's something strange about knowing you don't need answers. You don't require words. Even if the room is quiet, you will hear everything that others are too frightened to speak. That is not luck. That's not a coincidence. That is the hidden intellect that the cosmos programmed into you. And it haunts people. The chosen ones do not guess feelings. They read the energy underneath them. When you stare someone in the eyes, you can sense the storm that they are concealing. You hear what isn't stated. You can feel the trembling in their stillness, the exhaustion behind their grin, and the insecurity they attempt to hide with arrogance. People do not comprehend how you do it. They just know that when you are there, they feel noticed in ways they have never experienced before. Exposed, but safe. Vulnerable, but reassured. This is why strangers warm up to you. It's why even your adversaries feel vulnerable in your presence. What they do not comprehend is that your intuition is more than simply a talent. It is a mirror. Most individuals aren't prepared to face their own reflection. But you aren't frightened of depth. You go right into the feelings that others avoid. And when someone attempts to put a mask over you, something in your energy pulls it right off. They don't even understand why they're talking so much and confessing stuff. They have never told anybody. But you do. That is your power. You were not created to participate in surface-level talks. Your whole frequency is tuned to what's hidden underneath. And it is precisely why people keep returning. They desire the sense of being understood, even if it makes them uncomfortable. What makes your intuition hazardous to the wrong people is that you see what they're attempting to conceal, but don't use it against them. You do not manipulate. You do not pass judgment. You just understand. And that alone may make individuals feel more vulnerable than any encounter could. They can't explain what it is, yet it sticks with them. The sense of being understood without having to explain anything. That is your modest superpower, and it is one of the factors contributing to your increased attractiveness. Fourth, quit explaining yourself. Establish limits without uttering a word. There's something about you now that causes others to hesitate before approaching a change they can't identify, but they feel it, like a hitherto unseen quiet wall. And no, you didn't say anything. You did not have to. That is the power of a chosen one who has finally realized their value. Your limits are not indicated in the same way that temperature indicators were. People enter your environment and quickly see what flies and what doesn't. It's a kind of implicit authority that exists in your quietness and allows no place for disrespect. You don't seek validation. You do not beg for understanding. Your presence alone establishes a clear boundary, and those who used to challenge you are now treading gingerly. That is what occurs when you quit explaining yourself to those who did not deserve access in the first place. You've grown too stable to be rattled and too clear to be controlled. Here's the irony. They label you chilly, distant, or altered, unaware that they are responding to the barrier they never expected you to set, which exposes their previous control. But let them murmur, let them ponder, because every selected one finally discovers the loudest. Power is quiet. When your energy speaks for itself, there's no need to raise your voice. And what it says is straightforward. You don't get to move me. This peaceful power disturbs people who depend on pandemonium. They cannot argue with it. They cannot guilt trip it. They cannot manage it. So they do the only thing that remains. They retreated, not because you drove them away, but because your energy no longer welcomes what it used to tolerate. You have become a fortress, not hard, but sacred. That's why your beauty grows. People are lured to mystery, power, and unshakable tranquility. Your quiet is not weakness. It's a strategy. Your calm is not passive. It's a controlled fire. And the reality is, the more limits you set without using words, the more the universe clears the way for those who actually belong in your presence. Allow them to sense the distance. Let them respect the stillness. That's the light they can't replicate and the respect they can't take. Number 5, don't fake the radiance. True change occurs without effort. There's a reason they're gazing. You did not have surgery. You haven't changed your clothes. You did not hire a stylist. And yet, something about you is unique, unshakable, unmistakably distinct. Your eyes have additional depth. Your stance communicates without words. Your presence moves as if something old awoke inside you. That's the issue with selected ones. The change is not cosmetic. It is cosmic. You did not grow up. You grew up spiritually, psychologically, and emotionally. And now the light they perceive is emanating from inside. It's the radiance of resilience, the spark of survival, the kind of beauty that does not stem from goods. It stems from suffering that hasn't broken you. You have developed in quiet, and suddenly your aura enters the room before you. Your skin radiates tranquility. Your eyes reveal that you have weathered storms. Your motions are flowing and not forced. You aren't attempting to be elegant. You are grace reborn with grit. This is why they can't figure you out. They will remark you look different. But what they truly sense is power. Here's the irony. While they were ripping you down, insulting you, and questioning you, you were gradually, silently, and shamelessly evolving. You didn't need vengeance. You need alignment. And now that you have it, you've transformed into a mirror, Just being present reflects back. Their anxieties, false confidence, and want to be noticed. You do not even attempt. However, your energy makes others feel vulnerable. That's the real enigma. You did not pursue beauty. You pursued completeness. And the outcome? Unfiltered appeal. The sort that cannot be bottled, purchased, or borrowed. The sort that haunts you may not notice the change since you are not seeing yourself through the prism of ego. You're merely living, healing, and rising. But everyone else notices it and cannot stop wondering what happened to you. Here is the truth. Nothing has occurred to you. You became. And now you're living evidence that when the universe picks someone, it appears on their face, in their energy, and in how they conduct themselves. As if they had already won the fight. Nobody even realized they were fighting. Number 6, heal without words. Allow your empathy to speak while others remain mute. They don't realize how just being around you makes them feel different, lighter, and safer. It confuses them since you didn't say much. Nonetheless, they have never felt more noticed. That's your power, chosen one. You don't just listen. You absorb. You do not respond. You tune in as the world rushes to speak. You've perfected the uncommon skill of presence. The way you meet eyes, your silence encourages them to tell the truth. It is both upsetting and therapeutic because you're not just hearing people, but also experiencing them. Even in the portions they attempt to conceal, you have an emotional frequency that most people cannot reach. And it is precisely what makes you a threat to the false ones and magnets for the broken ones. Your empathy is not performative. It is not computed. It is not rehearsed. It is real. And in a world full with masks, honesty is dangerous. People open up to you without understanding why. Strangers admit things they've never dared to utter out. Friends shed their guard and expose long-buried hurts. You're the mirror they did not ask for but needed. And you mirror their anguish without passing judgment. Only clarity. Your vitality is like a constant flame on a chilly night. Quiet, warm, and wavering. That is what makes you appealing. Not superficially, but deeply. I can't quit thinking about it this way. They're not sure why they trust you. Why do people feel calmer in your presence? But we both know your empathy is abnormal. It is a kind of healing that they cannot find anyplace else. And this is something they will never confess. Your capacity to make people feel comfortable reveals how unsafe they feel with everyone else. That's the twist. While others attempted to manipulate, compete, and pretend they didn't notice your silent superpower, you realized what most people avoid. And once someone has experienced that level of emotional clarity, they seek it again. That's why they keep returning. That is why you haunt their minds. Chosen ones do not seek affirmation, but rather serve as a refuge for those who find the world too noisy, phony, or chilly. Do not underestimate your empathy. It is not soft. It's your edge. It's exactly what makes you memorable. Number 7, stop competing. Make sure no one touches your lane as they race each other to be visible. You are creating something that no one else understands yet. That is what divides you. You aren't here to compete. You came here to create. Competition is noisy, anxious, and always looking sideways. But creation, it is silent. Power and selected ones use quiet as a weapon. You don't need to prove yourself since you're already living example of what occurs when purpose outweighs performance. That is why you're getting more beautiful. And they don't understand it. They're locked in comparison cycles, attempting to outdress, outshine, and outtalk you while you move as if you're directed by something they can't feel. And you are. You've discovered your own path, shaped by your experiences, resilience, and vision. That's what makes your energy tough to replicate. You see, when you stop trying to fit in and start growing from inside, people can sense it. It is not performative. It's pure. And that type of confidence is not something you proclaim from the rooftops. It's something that stays in a room even after you leave. The irony: by refusing to compete, you make yourself memorable. While others want praise, you're establishing legacy while they perform for attention. You're in the zone, creating something deeper, more enduring. And it haunts them because every time they attempt to compete with you, they realize there is no finish line when the other person isn't even participating. Your serenity threatens them, your detachment frightens them, and your discipline reveals their desperation. That's why your glow reacts differently. It is not cosmetic, it is cosmic. You're the pattern for silent control and purpose, without performance, power, or noise. So keep creating and developing. Stay focused on the vision that only you can see, since that is what makes you more attractive than ever. And while they attempt to figure it out, they realize they can't compete with someone who isn't playing the game. Number 8, don't be shallow. Your depth will make others reconsider their life. Something about your energy causes others to freeze. The middle idea: you do not need to raise your voice or demand attention. Your mere presence disturbs the environment. The chosen ones have an intensity that is not loud, yet it resonates. It does not ask for attention, yet it strangely blinds everything around it. This is not the type of intensity that comes from wrath or ego. It's the silent type, the kind that makes people doubt themselves, like standing next to a mirror that reveals everything they've avoided. Your concentration, quiet, and unwillingness to be diverted by the meaningless. That alone makes people uneasy since you aren't pursuing the moment. You are the instant your eyes communicate. They're not prepared to confront some truths. Your quiet force is unintentionally self-reflective. You shine a light on everything they've been fleeing from, including their squandered time, phony relationships, and meaningless objectives. This is the kind of energy that remains. It followed them home. It keeps them up at night, wondering why their life has suddenly gone off course since being around you. You did not come here to impress. You came to align. And that intensity, that fire, is not something they can take lightly. It shocks people. It tests them. It makes people question whether they are really living with a purpose. That is why some adore you while others shun you. But they all sense you. They believe you are mysterious. They believe you are too serious. But what they truly feel is that you are strongly linked to something they don't comprehend. You're not seeking approval, likes, or noise. You're connected to something genuine, internal, and unshakable. This terrifies those who depend on external affirmation to feel whole. But here is the irony. People who criticize your intensity also wish they had it. They are envious of the depth. You walk with the presence you bear, the purpose that seeps through your quiet. You do not preach. You do not push. You simply are. And it is enough to turn someone's whole viewpoint upside down. That is why you are memorable. And that's why they'll never forget how different life was when you stepped in. Number 9, reconnect or remain lost. Nature is whispering what the world cannot teach you. There's a reason people can't articulate why they're drawn to you. It is not your face. This is not your style. It is not even your words. It's something older, something timeless. Chosen ones move in a rhythm. The typical individual has forgotten how to hear. You're not just wandering through life. You're in harmony with the forces. Most individuals no longer notice how others speed through their days, dulled by noise. You can feel the gentle tug of the breeze, the quiet between ideas, and the underlying design behind every so-called coincidence. You don't just exist. You agree. Your presence seems like stillness wrapped in flames. When you enter a room, there is a halt in the energy, as if nature itself had taken a breath. They don't know how to express it, but they believe the forest is following you, like time bends slightly to allow you to pass. They don't know what to name it, so they label it unusual, intense, or profound. But what it truly means is divine cooperation. You are a part of something big, something they lost long ago while seeking hollow pleasures and false lifestyles. You see the signals, the numbers, the patterns, and the individuals who appear just when you need them or they need you. Moments that seem too beautiful to be coincidence. That is not luck. That is alignment. That is what occurs when you are in harmony with the hidden rules that form everything. And this worries others because your tranquility makes them doubt their chaotic situation. Your connection forces them to face their separation. Your mere existence reveals how far they've strayed from the truth, and it pains. They marvel how you maintain your composure, how you see through problems that others can't understand. But it's simple. You listen to nature, to instinct, to the current that runs underneath this loud world. You did not select this link. It selected you. Now, your glow brings that peaceful, profound knowledge with you wherever you go. That is the kind of beauty that no one can match. It is not taught. It is remembered, and they will continue to marvel how you do it. Don't crack under strain when you're too busy flowing with the world to explain. Number 10. Resilience is what makes you untouchable. People are taken aback by your survival story. They don't know the whole tale, yet they can sense the power while others crumble at the least pressure. You have carried storms in quiet and continue to march as if nothing can harm you. The chosen ones are not invincible. They're simply constructed differently. Life has thrown you in the flames more times than you can count. Instead of becoming ashes, you became the flame. You did not just get through the agony. You absorbed it, learnt from it, and transformed it into something indestructible. This is why people gaze. That is why they whisper. There is a heaviness about you now, a silent strength that does not need a shout to be sensed. You move like someone who has experienced the worst and yet chooses to climb. That perseverance is what makes you so dangerously beautiful. They can't figure it out. They don't comprehend why someone who has gone through hell yet seems peaceful. And the irony? The individuals who once questioned you now turn to you for strength. Because when pandemonium strikes, you don't panic. You stay anchored while others panic. You breathe while they disperse. You stay cool, composed, and unharmed. That's the type of energy that people want but can't replicate. Your strength is not in your response, but in your control. You do not boast. You do not complain. You let your response to speak for itself. And this scares those who believed you were done. See, being emotionally detached is not a prerequisite for resilience. It's about refusing to let failure define you. You've caused your teachers misery, not your own. That's why your shine is unique. This is why your energy feels holy. You've endured what others haven't. You bear it like a crown. Nobody else has acquired this unshakable spirit. It haunts those who attempted to ruin you and failed. And now they see you rising taller, stronger, and more brilliant. They are reminded of the war they initiated, which became your changing action. You're untouchable, not because you have never been injured, but because nothing can hold you down. And it is the type of power that no one can take. Number 11. Stop seeking retribution. Forgiveness will confuse and overcome them. They don't expect forgiveness from you. They came seeking blood. They lied. They ridiculed. They attempted to break you in ways that would leave you resentful for life. Instead of disintegrating, you accomplished something that shattered their ego. You let go, not because you are weak, not because you forgot, but because you realized the one thing they would never do. Carrying venom in your heart will only slow your ascent. Forgiveness in your hands does not constitute capitulation. It's a strategy. It is a pledge that you will not be swayed by sorrow, fury, or the shadows of their intentions. When you reveal what they did, you're not excusing them. You're fleeing them. and to freedom. This is what haunts them. They sought to trap you as vengeance. They wanted to see you spiral. However, your unwillingness to remain in the battleground they built has resulted in an unexpected outcome. You did not fight back because you had outgrown the conflict, and now you're glowing with something they will never possess, peace that cannot be touched. For them, forgiving is scary because it takes away their power. Their remarks no longer reflect their treachery or sting. Their plans fall flat. Why? Because you're not just forgiving, you are climbing. Pretending does not provide that level of elegance. It comes from mastering oneself. You refuse to let go because they deserved peace. You let go because you did. They now watch in silence, perplexed, disarmed, and silently humiliated. The same individuals who wanted to break you are now plagued by the fact that you're still standing, gleaming, and entirely unconcerned. This is the part they never expected. Your grace in the aftermath. Your reluctance to play their games, along with the manner you are mending, has made you more attractive than ever. They cast darkness onto you, making it hard for you to ignore the selected ones. Forgive, not because it's simple, but because vengeance is insufficient for the route they're on. So let them gaze. Let them ponder. You have already won. You never had to throw a punch. Because once your peace becomes your weapon, your foes will have nothing left to destroy. Number 12 chose purpose over popularity. This is how you win without asking. They want applause. You want alignment. That's why they'll burn out in the limelight while you ascend silently. Chosen ones do not follow the same path as everyone else. And that is precisely why people can't stop watching them while others bend and twist for likes, affirmation, and surface-level praise. You go steadily, eyes fixed on something much larger. Not fame, not recognition, purpose. That silent, unmistakable energy that propels you forward even when no one is applauding. When no one understands your journey, they do not grasp it, and they aren't intended to, since your path was not designed for their approval. It is designed for something deeper. Your life follows a predetermined path. They can't read when they're attempting to become viral. You are becoming everlasting. And, ironically, the more you disregard the herd, the more attractive you become. They sense something different in your presence, even if they can't describe it. That is the force of moving with aim. It haunts them. Your discipline speaks louder than their trends. Your quiet weighs more than their words. You do not have to declare your revolt. Your results. Whisper it into every room you enter. And in a society obsessed with attention, your concentration is irresistible. You're not appealing only because of your appearance. You're appealing because you move with clarity, conviction, and a fire that doesn't need to be fueled by followers or claps. That energy is unusual. It is sacrosanct. It motivates those who are ready while exposing others who are lost. That is why people want to follow or attack you. Your presence causes them to face their own emptiness. And you simply keep building, guiding, rising. Chosen ones do not follow the herd. They illuminate the path ahead of it, whether they confess it or not. Your radiance is awakening people up. You've shown that purpose is more powerful than popularity, that peace speaks louder than praise, and that living in sync does more than simply draw attention. You attract change. Keep walking. They'll follow when the hubbub calms down and the reality becomes too obvious to ignore. And suddenly, everything starts to make sense. Remember this. You were never intended to fit in. You were meant to stand out. The radiance. They never had to explain why they didn't comprehend. It was up to you to embody. The more you walk in harmony with who you actually are, the more captivating, mysterious, and unstoppable you become. That is the road of the chosen. If this message touched you, please remember to like this video, Subscribe to be part of a strong community of chosen ones and drop "I am ready" in the comments. Your change is just getting begun. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.